The heights of heroism can be measured against the depths of evil a protagonist overcomes. But what kind of evil can you throw at a 10-year-old? The Pokemon series typically focuses more on the collectible aspects of the series, caring much more about making a bunch of little guys you'll want to hang out with and buy 2 copies of the game for. But a long-standing staple of the series has been the presence of a villain group, whose machinations the protagonist foils over the course of their journey. These villain groups have undergone quite a bit of change over the lifetime of the series, trying out new methods and motivations, and I'm interested in looking at what has changed from generation to generation and what we can infer from these changes. Hello world, my name is Atticus, and welcome to the experiment. In the first generation, we have Team Rocket, a criminal organization that makes money through the theft and exploitation of Pokemon, at least according to their motto: steal Pokemon for profit, exploit Pokemon for profit, all Pokemon exist for the glory of Team Rocket. It's kind of catchy, actually. The player can actually be complicit in these crimes. From their motto, we know they steal Pokemon, and in Cerulean City, we see the aftermath of them robbing a house for a TM, short for technical machine. It's the item that allows you to teach a Pokemon a specific move. And in Celadon City, we find the game corner they launder money through. I don't know if that's the canon reason for its existence, but it feels right. At the game corner, we can play some games and win some coins, and what can we get with those coins? Pokemon and TMs. We also run into them at Mount Moon, Nugget Bridge, Lavender Town, and Silphco, a Poketech business that has prototyped the Master Ball, a Pokeball capable of catching any Pokemon in a single throw. We know that at Nugget Bridge they're running recruitment, offering a prize to anyone able to defeat all of their trainers stationed there, as well as a role in their organization. You've proven you're a strong enough trainer, so that's 5,000 Pokeyen as a congrats, but wouldn't you like to make more? In Lavender Town, they're poaching Pokemon, most notably killing a Marowak whose vengeful spirit haunts the Pokemon Tower. And at Silphco, they seem to be stealing the latest and greatest technology, including, but perhaps not limited to, a Silphscope, which allows the user to see ghosts, and the aforementioned Master Ball. Their leader, Giovanni, is found at their hideout in the Celadon Game Corner, as well as at the end of the Silphco dungeon, serving as the final challenge in both areas. He also, we discover, is the gym leader of Viridian City, the final test before the Elite Four. After losing to you twice, he returns to his day job to help Team Rocket recuperate, but after being defeated by you a third time, with his gym leader team even, he vanishes rather than face this crushing humiliation. Team Rocket strikes me as organized crime. In the first generation of Pokemon, we deal primarily with grunts and, on occasion, the big man himself, Giovanni, but in the second generation, which takes place a few years after the first, we interact with some of the remnants of Team Rocket, some of whom have the title of Executive. So we've got a corporate-esque structure where the lower rungs take on the most risk by doing the most obvious crimes, like the burglary in Cerulean City. Execs like Giovanni, however, run the more white-collar crimes, like the Celadon Game Corner's money laundering, but will still get their hands dirty for important jobs like the Silphco one. For all of their self-delusions of grandeur, Team Rocket seems like a very ordinary depiction of a criminal organization that fits in well with the setting. The only real disconnect being that an 11-year-old single-handedly thwarts several plans of theirs and brings down the whole organization. As mentioned earlier, Gen 2 explores the aftermath of Team Rocket, after Giovanni's departure. While the leader has vanished, there are still executives in Johto to manage Team Rocket, and they attempt a few things that we put a stop to. First, they try to make money by selling Slowpoke tails, which they get right from the source. There are implications here. There has to be a market for Slowpoke tails. They've got to be a delicacy or some such, and that seems to be confirmed from Pokédex entries. They use their tails to fish, so they have to serve as enticing bait. and the Silver entry outright says they're pleasant to chew, even if they hold no nutritional value. Other entries mention that a Slowpoke won't react to its tail being bitten for a while, a whole day in Gold's case, but up to this point, none outright say that the Slowpoke doesn't feel pain, just that it takes a while to register. They did try to walk this back later. For 7 games across generations 4 and 5, Slowpoke gets 1 entry that each title shares, and it states that it does not feel pain if its tail is bitten. And the Sun entry just says that sometimes the tail falls off. It'll grow back, and the Slowpoke doesn't really feel pain, so I guess it's okay that Slowpoke tails are a delicacy, as long as they're sourced ethically. Though the ethical source wasn't established for another 5 generations of Pokemon. We also find Team Rocket at the Lake of Rage, where they continue the second of Team Rocket's ambitions, the first being money, and the second being power. Gyarados has a base stat value of 540 in Pokemon Gold and Silver, and if you ignore legendaries, that means only Arcanine, Tyranitar, and Dragonite are stronger, with values of 555, 600, and 600 again, respectively. And Gyarados has the type advantage against 2 of them, and can learn Dragon-type's moves to deal with the last. It's a strong Pokemon, but to get it, you first have to level a Magikarp. And seeing how Magikarp don't learn any damaging moves, that's a time investment that Team Rocket understandably doesn't want to make. So instead, they run some kind of experiment at the Lake of Rage, attempting to induce evolution in Magikarp to artificially create an army of Gyarados. You team up with Lance at this point, the former champion of the previous game, known for using Dragon types like Dragonite, who can learn Electric type moves to deal with Gyarados, who is 4 times weak to those attacks. And together, you take out these Team Rocket remnants. In a last-ditch effort, they take over a nearby radio tower to try and contact Giovanni, urging him to return and lead Team Rocket back to greatness. Giovanni does not answer their call, and after a 3rd defeat, Team Rocket disbands for the final time. In the Celebi event for the remakes, we learned that Giovanni did hear the broadcast from his hideout in Tojo Falls International Waters, but we beat him in a Pokemon battle, and he yells about always losing to children before disappearing. We also learned that Silver, our rival for that game, is his son. In this generation, we see desperate members of Team Rocket. While most grunts may have joined for the promise of easy money, like the recruitment from Nugget Bridge, at some point we see that they begin to believe in Team Rocket's superiority, the motto resonating truer and truer with every crime they commit. We see this in their general attitude and the random bits of dialogue we see before and after battles. They believe this because they have to. How could they bear the weight of their sins and crimes otherwise? So when Giovanni disappears and the organization crumbles around them, they cling to this belief. They escalate their behavior. They had been poaching animals before, but now they outright torture them. Gone is the artifice of a lawful organization with Giovanni a gym leader and Team Rocket the proprietor of a game corner. It is an organization trapped in a death spiral, burning themselves out as well as anything they touch. In the next generation, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, we get 2 criminal organizations, though they are practically identical. Team Aqua and Team Magma both retain Team Rocket's structure, with a single leader overseeing a team of trusted executives who relay his orders to the lower rungs. But instead of having a self-serving purpose like Team Rocket's pursuit of money and power, our teams in this generation seek to make the world a better place, even if their plans are incredibly misguided. Teams Magma and Aqua are essentially eco-terrorists. In the original versions, they have similar philosophies but differ in the conclusion. Team Aqua believes that water is the source of life, so more water means more life. Team Magma, on the other hand, believes that land is the foundation of life, so more land, more life. Their first plan to achieve this goal involves a volcano. Team Magma wants to make the volcano erupt continuously to get rid of all the water in the region, and maybe get the games a better review score. Team Aqua wants to stop the volcano from erupting and make the caldera into a lovely lake after it fills with rainwater. So far, I'm with Team Aqua. Depending on the version you get, you'll team up with one of them against the other. After thwarting the volcano plans of whichever team you're working against, they'll hole up in a cave off of the coast of Lily Cove, where they steal a submarine to go and awaken a primordial Pokemon with terraforming powers. Team Magma goes for Groudon, who can make ground, and Team Aqua goes for Kyogre, who can cause it to rain without end. With the exception of fumbling an orb and causing the Pokemon to rampage out of control, their plan mostly works, and the player swoops in at the end to clean up the mess by, catching and taming a primordial terraforming Pokemon, as you do. Recruitment for Team Rocket was held together by desperation and self-delusion, but for Magma and Aqua, it seems more just a lack of critical thinking from everyone involved. They actually changed the motivations between the original and the remakes, where before both teams wanted a better world for everyone. In the most recent release, Team Magma wants to make a better world for humanity, pulling back the oceans to give them more room to develop. Whereas Team Aqua believes that humanity has ruined the world of Pokemon and aims to flood it so that Pokemon, the water type specifically, can live without human interference. These incarnations speak to a more religious zealotry, a blinding belief in science and the inherent evil of man against the inherent innocence of nature. Good intentions twisted to apocalyptic extremes. Team Galactic from Diamond and Pearl lacks those earnest convictions, replaced instead with blind faith in their leadership, specifically Cyrus. Some members will even admit that they don't know what Team Galactic's goals are, they just follow orders. They are either paid very well, or have fallen victim to Cyrus's delusions, because unlike the Grunts, we do figure out Team Galactic's goals. Cyrus wants to destroy the world and make a new one, with him as its god. An apotheosis requires a lot of prep work, however, so we see Team Galactic several times throughout the story. First in Jubilife City, where they harass Professor Rowan and his assistant in an attempt to intimidate him into giving them his notes. Rowan studies evolution, but he has also set up in the Sinnoh region specifically because he's interested in the region's secrets. So the safe bet here seems to be that Cyrus, and by extension the rest of Team Galactic, wants to know what Rowan has figured out about the region's legendaries. We tell them swipe or no swiping, and they flee the scene. We next find them stealing power from a wind farm, so at least there's still a little bit of Teams Magma and Aqua in there. They continue to do crimes ranging from petty theft to domestic terrorism. This definitely seems like a cult. Everyone even gets the same haircut and mint green dye. And the leader is actively trying to become God. Atop Mount Coronet, you confront Team Galactic for the final time, and Cyrus will summon one of 3 legendaries, depending on your version. The Pokemon God of Time, Dialga, the Pokemon God of Space, Palkia, or, if your version is Platinum, he'll summon Pokemon Satan, Giratina, by summoning both of the others. Cyrus intends to capture and tame one of the deific beings and use their power to destroy the universe and then make it anew. But our Pokemon are cooler than his, and instead we defeat Cyrus and capture the legendary Pokemon. We, a child probably around the age of 10, Luke and Dawn don't have a canon age as far as I'm aware, now hold the power to become as a god, but lack the ambition and imagination to do anything other than beat the Elite Four, which is probably for the best. Black and White have, in my opinion, the most interesting premise with their villain group. Team Plasma, to an extent far exceeding their predecessors, has formed around a cohesive idea that all members ardently believe: that Pokemon should not be enslaved. Most games in the series try to sweep the dogfighting aspect of the setting under the rug, just don't think about it too much. But Black and White drags it out to the forefront and has several characters tell you that this is a bad thing you are participating in. We first encounter Team Plasma running recruitment, and the next encounter is a few grunts searching for Amuna, one of the Pokemon able to deal in dreams, in order to continue to spread their message even at the expense of their own ideals. There's a feeling of hypocrisy here and a worry that the villain team may actually be villainous. The rot at the heart of this organization has twisted the earnest belief that people should not use Pokemon to other people should not use Pokemon. Ultimately, the Pokemon Company still wants to sell Pokemon games, so instead of really exploring this ideology and how it fits within the Pokemon world, Pokemon Black and White only looks at this corruption. All of Team Plasma has been tricked by Ghetsis, the leader in all but name, who sought power by being the only one allowed to use Pokemon. With the great and terrible power that even a Dwebble can bring to bear against a regular human person. By pinning the entirety of an ideology on one man's greed, Pokemon can wash its hands of the situation and brush everything back under the rug, right where it belongs. But there's a reason N and all those Team Plasma grunts believed in their mission, beyond Ghetsis' manipulation. I do hope we eventually return to Unova and finish N's story, but I can't really imagine it happening. The 6th generation does away with any appearance of reason. The motivations of Team Plasma were too realistic, too relatable, so X and Y's Team Flare wants to destroy the world, really just because. Lysander, their leader, claims that the world is ugly and that in order to make it beautiful, he must destroy it and make it anew. Cyrus was at least motivated by his narcissism, believing he would do a better job of running the world than whatever force, if any, was currently in control. At least, Lysander spends a lot of time trying to get the player to join, recognizing their potential. It's a neat twist to the formula. Flare strikes me as a doomsday cult. For whatever reason, they're here for the end of the world. Maybe they bought into Lysander's vision, maybe they like the idea of drenching themselves in hedonism and destroying the world before any potential consequences could catch up to them. Who's to say? After a series of cults, we get Team Skull in Sun and Moon, and they're honestly a breath of fresh air. They're just a bunch of kids who banded together after failing the Island Challenge, Sun and Moon's version of the gym circuit. To my understanding, and I played this generation of games once when they came out, passing the Island Challenge is a way of obtaining licensure to have and raise Pokemon in Alola. To fail it is to not be allowed Pokemon. And in a world where literally everything revolves around those pocket mons, to fail the challenge is to be rejected from society. So, of course these kids find camaraderie with each other and rail against the system that has abandoned them. Unlike in previous generations, the people of Alola aren't too worried about Team Skull. They'll call them thugs and delinquents, but it's not like they have any actual goals, they're just acting out. There is a much stronger bond between team members here than in any other group so far, and it helps make them much more relatable than any other team so far. Other than general harassment, Pokemon theft, and getting a job from the actual villain of Sun and Moon, Team Skull's greatest claim to fame is taking over an entire town, driving out the residents and claiming it for their own, and honestly, that's more than any other team has accomplished. There's something to say about integrating with society. While the people of Celadon didn't like the game corner, Team Rocket still managed to settle there and set up a hideout. Teams Aqua and Magma hid out in a cave, and Teams Galactic and Flare had corporate offices in one or more cities in their region. And Plasma had a castle near the Elite Four. Team Rocket's situation makes sense for their goals, but most of the other teams want to destroy the world. Why haven't they taken over an entire city yet? Plasma does have a castle, so I guess that's fine. While Team Skull is more relatable with their railing against society, why this sudden pullback? For 3 generations now, we've stopped plots that would purposely result in the destruction of the Pokemon world as we know it, and a 4th if you count ones that would accomplish the same by accident. There is no such danger with Skull. We could leave them be and Alola would be fine. It could be just that the storyline was getting stale, or that with a growing audience they try to up the stakes with each subsequent game until reaching Lysander, who wants to destroy the world due to his personal aesthetic sensibilities, and rejects even the notion that a better world could be created through less extreme means. With Sun and Moon re-examining what it means to be a Pokemon game, making the most drastic changes to the Pokemon formula seen in the series, it makes sense for it to pull the stakes back with the villain team and reconsider their purpose in these stories. We see this new direction immediately in the next entry in the series, Sword and Shield. Here, the villain team, Team Yell, is a cheer squad for one of your competitors in the gym challenge. The members are obnoxious and will harass other gym competitors, but they're hardly a threat to the Galar way of life. Their leader is Piers, the brother of the gym competitor the team supports, and one of the gym leaders you fight. And the members are actually the trainers of that gym, who are almost certainly breaking some rules by interfering so directly in the gym challenge, but probably not breaking any laws. And finally, so far, we have Team Star in Violet and Scarlet. Team Star is a group of truants who haven't attended class in some time. The group has a reputation of bullying, causing the director of the university they theoretically attend to investigate matters personally. As a promising young student who fends off 2 Team Star bullies, an event witnessed by only 2 other people, you also get roped into this task by a person you only speak to through text, named Cassiopeia, who saw that showdown. It becomes very clear pretty early on that Cassiopeia is the missing leader of Team Star, and that the original members banded together in an effort to combat bullying that was happening to them. Their truancy began as they waited for their leader to return, who took the fall when the bullies reported Team Star for the standing up for themselves. While the newer members of Team Star may indeed be bullies enticed to the group's open defiance of school rules, the core of the team are incredibly sympathetic individuals. They have a strong bond and care deeply for each other, as well as their long-absent leader. They are the first villain team to not at all be villains. Truancy may be illegal, but it's hardly a moral failing, and apart from the encounter that starts you on this journey, Team Star doesn't really do anything. You have to go to them. The villain teams through X and Y all feel somewhat similar. They're led by megalomaniacs, and with the exception of Aqua and Magma, they either want to destroy the world or rule it. They even commit similar crimes. They pretty much all steal Pokemon, and both Galactic and Flare steal energy to further their goals. They are also all responsible for the major plot. Aside from the protagonist's journey to conquer the Elite Four, their journey is increasingly spurred on by the actions of the villain team, starting from a few chance encounters to thwarting their goals. And only with the safety of the world ensured can the player go on to conclude their Pokemon journey. With the great re-examination brought on with Sun and Moon, however, the role of the villain team was changed. No longer are they spurring on the main story, but rather they act as a foil to the protagonist's journey. Team Skull failed the Island Challenge, the same challenge which the player is going through. They are simultaneously a warning about the kind of future available to those who do not learn how to coexist with Pokemon in the Pokemon world, and also a reassurance that one can still find community even if they don't fit in with the accepted societal standard. Team Yell demonstrates an unearned victory in the sportification of Pokemon battling, a thing which Marnie, the character they are supporting, actively does not want. And Team Star, in an overzealous defense against bullying, become the bullies. But like Team Skull, still offer community beyond the societal norm, though in their case they chose this rather than being forced to it. The main plot is left to another group entirely, Lusamine and the Aether Society in Sun and Moon, Chairman Rose and his company in Sword and Shield, and finally Arven's robot parent in Scarlet and Violet. So while it may seem like the villain teams have fallen from grace, I am excited to see where they go. I have been Atticus, and thank you for participating.